Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to your next lesson on collection types. So far, the variables we've created could only hold one value. So, say for instance, if we have a variable a, what we did in the last video was set it equal to 2 or a string or something like that. Basically, just one value. A collection type is basically a data type that can store more than one value, and with that we'll be able to create variables that will be able to store more than one value. We have a few of them in Python, but once again we'll just stick to the simple ones for the moment. So the first one we have is a list, which is basically just a collection of data, a collection of items. Then we have a dictionary, which is a key value pair, and then a tuple or tuple. And this is similar to a list in that it's just a list of items, but the difference here is you can't change a tuple once it's created. Cool. So let's see a sample of each of these. We'll begin with the list. So we create lists with square brackets, just like that, and then in the square brackets we can have as many values as we like, separated by commas. We can also mix data types, so you can see I have 1 2 3 here, integers, and then I'll just add in a string hello, and I can say 3.14. Yep. So this is a list with 1 2 3 4 5 items, and I can print this out. Okay, so now if I open up CMD, go to my desktop and run the file, you see we get the list, right? And so I can set this to a variable, let's say my list, right? And I can print my list, and we'll basically get the same thing. So a list is a data type, just like integers, floats and all. It's just a data type that can store more than one value. Now if we wanna reference a list, we just use its variable name, but this will give us all values in the list like this. What if we wanna reference a specific value, say the first value? Then we need to use something called an index, and an index is just the position of the value in the list. Something to note about items in the list, I guess before that let's just see a sample of that. So let's say we want to reference the first item, so we can do my list square brackets, and here we're going to type in the position. So I wanted the first item, so that's at the first position, so I'll just type in 1, and if I run this, we get a 3, which is actually the second item. So what happened? Well, list indices start at 0. So even though the 1 is at the first position, for the computer it's actually going to start counting at 0. So it's going to say 1 is at position 0, the 3 is at position 1, the 4 is at position 2, and so on. That's something to keep in mind. It's something that tripped me up when I started my coding journey. It takes a while to get used to the fact that it starts counting at 0, but you'll get used to it pretty quickly. So once again, if we want to reference the first item, we'll say my list sub 0, or my list and 0 in the square brackets. If I do that, I got an error. Oh, it's because of this. Okay, should work now. There we go, we got 1. And in the same way, if we want to reference any of these items, we just use its index. So once again, indices start with 0, so this is 0 1 2 3. So if I do 3, we get hello. the fourth item. Now, what if we want to add an item to the list after it's created? So when we create a list, we can add items here however we like. But what if I want to add an item after it's created? I don't want to change the entire list. I just want to add an item. By the way, if you want to change the entire list, I can just do this. 4, 5, 6, and if I do a print here, you can see that my list is now 4, 5, 6. But what if I just want to change one item? Well, you can simply do the list name or the variable name, and then in square brackets the index of the item you wish to change. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'll just say 3 equals let's say 8. And if I do print my list, you see that the hello has changed to 8. And if we want to add an item to the list, we can do mylist.append, and then in parentheses I can say the item I wish to add. So let's just add 5, and if I print my list, okay, I'll just get rid of the index here so that we can see the before and after. And you see we have a 5 added at to the end of the list. So I can add as many elements as I like. Now, what if I want to remove an item from the list? Right? So adding an item just adds it to the end. What if I wish to remove an item? I can simply do mylist.remove and the item I wish to remove. So let's say I want to remove the item 4. Print and you can see the item 4 is now gone. So that's lists. Next, let's have a look at the dictionary. So the dictionary is a data type that basically stores key value pairs. So we create a dictionary with curly braces like that, and for every value we have something called a key. We have a colon, and then we have the value, right? Now your key can be anything, so I can also put in like a 1 here. Now if I print this out, so I'll just comment these out so that they don't interfere with the dictionary output. You see we get key value, right? Let's just change this to name, and let's just say Melbit. Age, let's say 1, is the first year of the YouTube channel, and for now we'll just leave it to that. If I print this out, you see we get name, Melbit, age, 1. What is the purpose of this key value pair? Basically what I can do now is get a value from the dictionary based on the key. So let's say if I want to get the name, I can just do same as before, square brackets, name, and if I print this out, I get whatever was stored in the name. Similarly, if I do age here, then I get 1, whatever value is stored for the age. And if I want to add another item to the list, to the dictionary, I can just do name of the variable in square brackets, my key. So let's say I want to add the key 5 color, and set that equal to something. So let's say orange or black or whatever, doesn't really matter. And if I print out the variable, you can see that the new element was added to the dictionary. And if I just retrieve the favorite color, you can see we get black. Yep. So this is useful for storing data, key value pairs. And finally we have the tuple. So we create a tuple using a comma. So what I'm going to do is just create a variable here, set it equal to, and I'll just say 2. Now if I just do 2 and I do a print, print the type of the variable, you see we get int. So it's not really a tuple at the moment. To make it a tuple, I need to put in a comma. So now if I run this, we get tuple. Okay, it's common convention to surround tuples in parentheses. This is not required from a language perspective, but it's common convention and helps us to differentiate it from like normal expressions that are separated by commas, right? So if I did something like this, 3 4 5, it should work. Okay, so I can just take this out probably. You see we get the type as tuple, but if you look at the values, yeah, we get that. And you'll see even Python surrounds it in parentheses. So it's not required, but it's common convention to use parentheses. 2 3 5, 2 3 4 5. Okay, and if you want to get an item from the tuple, so just like with the list, I can say my tuple and then in square brackets index of the item I wish to retrieve. So once again, indices start from 0. So first item is going to be index 0, second one index 1, index 2, index 3. So let's say I want to retrieve the first item, I just do in my tuple sub or in square brackets 0, and we get 2. What happens if you try to change a value? Let's say the first item equals 5. You see we get an error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So a tuple can't really be changed once it's created. But let's try doing something like this. So let's try reassigning it to a new tuple. So let's just say 987. And any guesses on whether this works? You can see that this works. So we can reassign it to a new tuple. We can reassign our variable to a new tuple, but we can't really change the already existing tuple. That's the key difference between a list and a tuple. That's all for today, and thanks for watching. Happy coding.